secret. Unless they can prove that she used this personal email for that, then she has broken no law. There was a law written that is actually more of a code than a law that requires people in the government to have a backup backup copy available through records for public information requests. In other words, Hillary's obligation within 20 days of sending an email through her personal thing would have been, after this rule came out, to then forward it to whatever, the Department of Records or whatever. There has to be a copy of it available. Now, this rule did not come into effect until after she was already out of office. So there was no rule about what an official could use personal emails for, other than the natural rules that surround sharing secret information. Okay, this is where you have to use a courier or something, or DoD encryption. Now, so Hillary, if we're looking at this like a judge in a courtroom, case dismissed. She hasn't broken any rules. Now, let's take a look at it from another angle, though. I'm an ex-vet. I'm a military veteran, and I had to deal with secret information. There's a reason that information becomes secret. There is some group of people that has looked at this information and decided this information in the wrong hands could harm our country somehow. So the question for me becomes, what did she share? What did she share over this personal email account? And so many people, I was listening to NPR today, don't even understand what personal email account means. Hillary Clinton used several different mail services, but the one that was in question here was a couple of servers she had set up in her own home. Now, if you know anything about email security and encryption, you know that it's possible that Hillary's email servers were more secure than the government's email servers. We don't have the answer to that question yet. We don't have it. We do not know what security she was running, and we don't know how secure her emails were. What's more is anybody that sent her an email that may have had confidential information in it may not have known that they were being at the mercy of whatever Hillary Clinton and her IT people at her home decided was enough security. This makes this act unacceptable. Okay? Here's what we need to do. This is what should happen. What should happen is that by law, she should be required to turn over those email servers, as well as any IP-related ISP-tracked reporting of these messages and when they were sent and to whom, as far as when were they sent, what was contained in them, and was security enabled at the time. You cannot have Hillary Clinton aides decide which of these emails will go to the public record and which will not. Not in an official government position. So that's going to have to be something that's looked at. What was sent over these so-called non-secure lines? For all you know, they were more secure than the government. I mean, the government emails get hacked every day, people. Every day. I mean, if you really want secure messaging, you have to use a courier who's guarded at all times. What are you going to use? Snail mail? Is that what you consider secure? The USPS processing 156 million messages a day across this country, and you think you're going to get security somehow? For all you know, the mailman snatching it, taking it to a lab, using Steam to open it, reading the message, making a copy, selling it to Russia, put it back in, delivered to the box. That's secure for you? The U.S. Postal Service? What is secure to you? Okay, what is secure to you? For me, with an IT background, nothing is secure. Nothing is truly secure. If I take Apocalypse out in the woods and say, good, we're here alone, now I can share with you some military secrets, I still won't know if we're secure. There's satellite technology. There's all kinds of, there's simple hunter cameras, game cameras. There are audio recording equipment all over the place, and it's dirt cheap now. There's no such thing as secure, folks. There's just not. Go ahead and tell somebody that they can't get into government email. Go ahead. You want to do that? Go tell Anonymous they can't get into government email. They'll turn over the accounts the next day. Okay? Encryption has its limits. And anything written by man can be decoded and beaten by man. Just a matter of time. Missed the first 10 what? First 10 minutes of the show? It's really nothing except for people talking about Hillary's book sucks. I'm catching up in the chat room. Give me a sec. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play another clip for you. Now, we just heard on the Lawrence O'Donnell show a rather, I'm going to call it a comfortable hugging of the Clinton situation. And you're going to get that on MSNBC. They're going to support the left. This particular breach on security, if in fact that's what it was, we cannot know that until we know what security she was running and until we have ISP-related reports on when messages were sent, when they received, what was in them, and upon which servers they found themselves or passed through to get to their destinations. And because you're sending these emails all over the world, you're getting an innumerable amount of servers involved. And at any point, that message can be stopped, recorded, and decoded. Okay? So email's not secure. Don't even think it is. I don't care if it's government email or not. The question is, what did she share in these messages? If it was top secret state information, Hillary Clinton's email servers are not adequate unless we have some very top-notch security software and hardware, as in firewalls, installed, and she's going to need to prove that. If I'm running this show, there's a full investigation on the servers used, right down to the hardware components, the software used, the people who were in charge of administering this server. Do we have background checks on them? How secure were they? Because if I set up your mail server, I can go in and get emails all day long. I just have to know how to log in. And if you use even individual encryption on each message that's different from the last message and different from the one that comes after, I can still get into the message. I just have to do it one at a time. Just need some decryption software. It's essentially software that's going to either try to decode the full encryption, whether it's 64-bit or 256, whatever. Doesn't matter. You just start guessing. The programs that are designed to crack code, they just start guessing until they get it. And it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time with this stuff. There are more secure ways of delivering information to anybody than email, but nothing is totally secure. So here's what you're going to end up doing, America. You're either going to punish her for this, when so many other people that we're going to talk about tonight have been using emails, personal emails, to send government information and government-related information, okay? And I'll go through a list of people that do that. You're either going to use this to punish her because you don't like her, or you're going to protect her from it because you do like her. When I'm trying to present you with the third option, look at what the threat was, look at the responsibility level involved, and was she irresponsible or not? Wait until you get the data, because the data may show that she didn't send anything that was considered secret or sensitive information over these email servers. You don't know. Now, there was a question asked on one show about how many times she used email. You have people like Napolitano, who never used email. That's the way you stay secure, you know. But even then, is Apocalypse out in the woods with a gamer camera? You don't know. He might be. He's kind of sneaky. Fucking Arizona people, man. Ask John McCain. They're sneaky. Yeah, there's no secure messaging. Forget that, folks. It's gone. There's no secure messaging. I mean, the most secure messaging we've had available to us in the past 100 years is probably the Navajo wind code people from World War II. And that's only because their language was known by that small group of people, and it wasn't written. So there was no decryption possible. You had to know the language or get somebody that spoke it and torture the fuck out of them until they told you what was being said. Nothing secure. Nothing secure. So in the very top level, top secret discussions, you're going to have a room that is heavily swept by the Secret Service and the CIA for potential bugging devices. You're going to have a heavy double-layered search on for the backgrounds of each of the people involved in the security sweeps, so that it's going to be very difficult to get away with something, planting something in there. All of that's got to be done. And they're going to be in a room that's soundproof, that has been fully checked for electronic recording devices of any kind. And this is in your top military meetings. But even then, you still don't know You still don't know, because what if the technology is in use that you haven't learned how to detect yet? They have, if you ever watch like the History Channel on some of the spy tricks, they have some very crafty ways of converting sound waves into audible messages. And it's not the stuff you might think. So who's to say we're not at some new point where we can use infrared through a satellite with ground penetrating radar to look at a room and detect the sound waves in there and then encode them into audible messages? You just don't know where we are. So nothing is really secure. But you certainly can be a lot more secure than using email servers inside your house. With who? With what IT department? Louis? Fucking Louis. Louis's probably selling secrets to AIPAC, who's selling them to Putin, because that makes money. Because I'm just saying, AIPAC listens, he likes the Russian Times. Or Russian Times, Russia Today or something like that. RT. AIPAC might be a spy. I mean, he's somebody you got to look at, Notice how he listens to all the shows? Yeah. Are you a spy, Apocalypse? Just tell us, please, in the chat room. And for the rest of you fuckers, let's play another clip about this here Hillary Clinton-esque person and see what they have to say. This is a funny little video, and I'm going to point out some logical fallacies with this video about Hillary. Talking about the email scandal. So let's do that.
It seems that instead of using a normal something@state.gov email address, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was using her personal email address instead to conduct all official business. This is like an advanced version of us regular folk letting our business conversation from work spill out onto Facebook or Line or something. It's worse because it's also a breach of national security. If only she had used an official .gov email address, it would be super secure and also be subjected to the sunshine laws and archived automatically by the National Archives and Records Administration. Sure, she just handpicked and turned over 50,000 pages from her private account.
Well, it's beyond
but
the New York
what
Times
exactly did she leave out?
Is going to be all over. It doesn't matter what the Republicans
Now, Mrs. Clinton has officially said that she would enter the 2016 presidential race. So we're wondering what other ways she can creatively reuse apps while conducting official POTUS business if she's elected. She isn't the first government official to do this, but her exclusive use of her private email for all of her work seems kind of out of order. The use of private email accounts is supposed to be limited to emergencies such as when some computer server isn't working. The main point of contention here, though, seems to be why didn't anyone on the Obama administration's IT staff try to correct the situation in the first place?
Your smartest, most insightful comments can win you $100 only at tomonews.net.
Welcome, everybody.
You believe that? You believe this Hillary stuff?
Well, there's a couple of things I don't believe, but we can start there. Yeah, how does she serve as Secretary of State for all those years and nobody notices that her emails are not coming from a government address?
I mean, in violation.
HRC@hotmail.com.
Yeah.
What?
Top secret
is
material
going on?
Oh, I know. And then they decide what they're going to release. Oh, well, we've released 55,000
No,
emails.
you don't. All her emails now have to go public.
Absolutely everything. Every single one. Email. She made the choice. This is staggering. And, this is what happens every time she starts to run. Yeah. It brings up memories of 8 years that people look back and have glossed over a lot of things. But every day in Washington, D.C., when the Clintons were there was another example of how they just didn't play by the same rules as everybody else in Washington, D.C. And then they lawyered themselves up. This is
don't think we're overstating
it. It's just like taking money from foreign countries. They know no boundaries. This is shocking.
I think it is. I think it's going one step beyond biting the hand that feeds you, just absolutely giving it the you-know-what. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Richard, you live in this world. How stunning is it that a Secretary of State ignores federal guidelines and has her own private email conducting business
chooses what to release
as Secretary of State and then says, oh, well, I'll release these emails?
I think when you work for the government, in a sense, you give up the luxury of private email.
I thought you did.
And so,
unless you're a Clinton.
The question is who it belongs to. I think here, and there's also the added overlay of the content in terms of whether anything went out on an open system, quote unquote.